Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Blue Figures. Today, we're going to be talking about the freaking Alliance. Now, or should I say Alliance cucks? Ha ha ha. It's a joke, by the way. Some people take that way too seriously. Hey, just for future reference, whenever I say Alliance cuck, it's a joke. As I'm sure everyone who's just a teensy bit familiar with me should know. Okay, so that being out of the way, that public service announcement out of the way. For some reason, people keep walking around saying, "Oh, the Alliance is supposed to, they're the Avengers. They're supposed to be heroes. Oh, they're supposed to be the good guys." Blah blah blah, blah. Which I thought was ridiculous, and I thought it was some fringe opinion, but for some reason, I have to keep explaining to people that that's not the case. And so I eventually thought, oh, wait a second, this is a dumb mainstream opinion. This is actually a mainstream opinion. So let's read the definition of hero, and I'm going to be tailoring it to this situation. So when I say alliance, sorry, when I say hero, I mean this: a person who is admired for their noble qualities, or they are the morally superior people in Attack on Titan. And from beginning to end, it's Isayama is trying to make it so painfully obvious that there's no real moral superior to anybody in the show. Maybe Carla, because she's dead. But that's about it. So why am I saying that the Alliance aren't heroes? I think a good way to put this is the Alliance just so happened to be doing the right thing in 138. And I said 138 because that's when they kill Eren. But besides that, they're all evil people. All of them are evil. From top to bottom, they're all evil people. I think, and I thought that would be uh, obvious, right? They're not morally superior to anyone. I mean, I guess you could say they're morally superior to Eren, but that's because Eren. That's just because Eren's just such a deeply evil person that you can't top him. Like, okay, there's an order of evil people, right? And Eren's at the top of it. So, sure, in a way, you could say that they're morally superior because there has to be a person who's more evil than everyone else. But but we're talking about the Alliance versus the Jaegerist, or the Alliance as a whole. We're talking about groups, factions of people. The Alliance isn't more moral than the Jaegerists or anything else. The only person who's more moral than anyone else is if you compare X person to Eren. That's it. That's the only time you can say someone's morally superior to anybody. And the reason why I say Eren is not because of the rumbling, it's because of why he did the rumbling. Now, I'm not gonna get into this because this is a whole big conversation. People refuse to understand the truth. I'll just put it simply like this. Okay, Eren essentially threw a temper tantrum. The world wasn't exactly how he wanted it to be. He was disappointed, and it wasn't ideal, and he threw a temper tantrum. And nothing to do with oppression. It was not about oppression. It was about he wanted the world to be empty, and it wasn't empty, so he went and he killed 800 million people at least. That's what happened. Okay, so with that out of the way, we can begin to go into this video. So the very first thing I want to point out, I'm gonna go back to before the Alliance. I'm gonna go way back to season 1. And I love them doing this because people season 1 is so deeply underrated. Season 1 is a good season. People really sleep on it. But if you look at the season 1 finale, actually, let's get what Aaron Ashley says. Okay, now unfortunately, there's no this is an anime only thing, so unfortunately, I can't get a good translation. So this is I'm gonna have to use the sub on YouTube. So hopefully this will convey the message. Now you'll see different things depending on what you use, but this will be the general gist of it. Aaron says there's no time to figure out if this is the right thing to do. Okay, some of them say there's no reason to think about what's right or wrong. Just move. Don't try to keep your hands clean. This is our hero saying this, by the way. That's right. He says the world is cruel. Yeah, that's what he says. And then he transforms and starts to fight Annie. Now, again, reading that, it's like, okay, wait a second. This is our hero saying this to try to keep your hands clean. This is our noble, morally superior person. And I notice he's fighting Annie, the evil villain of season one. And if you watch it, particularly if you watch it, you will see that he is just mowing through people, going through houses, pushing her around, throwing stuff, being very violent and destroying people's lives as he's going about this rampage. And as you can see, our evil villain Annie is showing more concern for human life than Aaron, our hero. And so Isayama does this on purpose. And prior to that, Armin said a good person is to me a good person is just someone that does something beneficial to you. So if you do something beneficial to me, hint hint wink wink for later seasons, you're a good person, quote unquote. So I think it's very obvious just using that. I think it's very obvious that Isayama is trying to send a message that there's really no good guy or bad guy. I just and honestly, in this battle, looking back from season 4, who really is a good guy? It's hard to say because well, initially it's like, okay, well, Aaron's the good guy just doing a bad thing by having no regard for human life whatsoever or and property. That's important too. Um, but now it's like, okay, what was Annie fighting for? What was Aaron fighting for? I mean, the dude literally said during this scene he will destroy the entire world for the sake of his freedom. So now it's like, well, wait a second, this gets recontextualized. Like, what? This who's really the good guy or bad guy here, right? Now let's move on even to season 2. Mikasa stands, get ready to get angry. Now season 2, we have our evil villain, Berthel Hoover, and they're confronting him about what he's done, and he starts talking about how the friendships he forged were the only positive things in his life, and that the guilt that he incurred during his mission will stay with him for the rest of his life. Yada yada yada. But before this, and of course, only one person doesn't care about, but everyone else is shocked by this and feels some sort of human emotion. Mikasa doesn't feel anything. But before that, our hero, Mikasa, after learning that Ymir's been coerced with death or extorted, actually, I probably should say with death. After hearing of this, Mikasa, our hero, mind you, shrugs this off and says, there's only so many people I can care about. You're mistaken to seek compassion from me," she says. This is our hero. So now, okay, again, this is the same thing. Is our supposed heroes, our supposed good guys, are actually kind of morally questionable people, right? And then we go down further, and this is when I really like it, to season 4, where the alliance actually gets formed, and the really ironic thing about the battle in 128, 129. Forget the exact chapter. The port battle. I know there's two port battles. So the first port battle, where they're trying to get the flying boat out because it was about to get blown up. That one. The evil Jaegerists who support genocide are fighting the alliance, who we're already talking about how much blood they're gonna have to spill and how unclean they were. But ignoring that, they were gonna fight them. So our villains, again, there really isn't any villain. The villain is Aaron, but our villains supposedly are fighting the morally superior alliance that Isayama's trying to make morally superior. They're fighting the alliance, and the very ironic thing is that in order to be the good guys, they went to a level more depraved than the Jaegerists. And I'm talking specifically, of course, about Connie and Armin, the situation with them. They won that battle because they were more depraved than the Jaegerists. They're the supposed evil bad guys. So these evil Jaegers support genocide of literally everyone else except for their own countrymen had more humanity in them than the supposedly morally superior alliance, who proceeds to shoot them in the face multiple times. This is the people we're supposed to think of as morally superior, and if this couldn't get any worse, anime onlys, you can probably exit here. Minor spoilers ahead. The on their way to fight Eren, the chapter is literally called Sinners. It's called Sinners. 133. It's called Sinners. What more does this see? Like, does this see how I need to go to your house, grab you by the collar, and say the Alliance are not heroes, not morally superior or anything? Well, what does he need to do? He need what? The chapter was called Sinners, and then this is gonna blow your mind. Mikasa, our hero, says herself, "We are all guilty of the same sins." So that means we're all equally evil. We're all equally bad. We're all morally repugnant together. That's what she says. And then, of course, the nail in the coffin that I always like to use, and all these are nails in the coffin. The nail in the coffin I always like to use is Connie says, "We are irredeemable," talking to Reiner. So he puts himself on the same level as Reiner, and he says, "We are irredeemable." Oh, actually, before we dive into that, remember that Armin recalled our evil bad guy Barrett. What he said, something in season 2, right? When he said someone's gonna have to do it, someone's gonna have to stain their hands with my blood. Armin recalls that, and he executes that principle. So he's using the bad guy's logic. He's executing that principle in the real world. Our hero, person we're supposed to think of morally superior. But anyway, moving on from that, in the plane 133, the chapter is called Sinners. Connie says he starts understanding, saying, "Oh, this is what your life is, what you're going through," and he says to Reiner, "We are irredeemable." So I don't know. I don't know what part of that screams morally superior, noble heroes. I don't know where you got that from. I don't know what part of that made you think that I was trying to send a message that the Alliance is more pure than Jaegers or anyone else. All of them, from top to bottom, are evil people, and that's why I have my Not a Good Person series. Because they're all evil people, all of them. Okay? Now you may say, well, they're portrayed as heroes, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. The Alliance was simply right that one time. That's why Connie says, "Did we do the right thing?" Because they just so happened to be right in that one instance. The one instance of them stopping the rumbling. Actually, I already spoiled the anime only. So that one instance of them stopping the rumbling was the right thing to do in that particular moment. Just as one could say that not shooting your friend in the face at one time was also the right thing to do. So you see, there's trade-offs, right? They take turns doing the right and the wrong thing. So that's how I would that's how I'd posture it to you. Also, notice Historia, who's a freaking Jaegerist, is also the reason why is also portrayed as a hero at the end. So I don't want to hear it from any of you. So I hope this now clears up. The whole thing with the Alliance being portrayed as heroes. I don't want to ever hear that again. If anyone sees this video and ever says to me again in any platform that the Alliance is portrayed as heroes, here's your punishment. Watch this video again on half the speed. All right. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and go to my Discord, which will be in the description. And I'll see you in my next video.